Hello everyone, it's Heather from Heather Travels, and I am filming this video on August 28th, 2019 from my room, a royal suite, royal two-bedroom suite, something like that, at the Kalahari Resort in Wisconsin Dells. And I want to give you, now that we've slept here and we've been here a while, I want to give you a little review of the room and the resort and give you a little bit more information about the resort in case you're thinking about staying here. Okay, first of all, for the room, this is a very nice room. It's very big. It's very spacious. I mean, I was in a king bed by myself. The kids each got their own queen bed. And even if we'd had Andrew with us, I think we also had a sofa bed, maybe. I mean, we would have had plenty of space. And the rooms are large, really spacious. It goes on and on and on. The bed was fairly comfortable. I will say the bedding was very comfortable and the pillows were very comfortable. My bed, and the kids said they slept fine. My bed, the mattress was a little bit too firm for me, and so my back is a little bit sore this morning from that. And also, it creaked. It creaked every time I rolled and moved, and when I got up and out of the bed creaked. So I don't know if that's just something showing its age or what. It is very, very quiet in this room. I have heard absolutely nothing. I have heard no neighbors. I really am kind of doubting we even have neighbors. I heard nothing from the hallway, and the hallway is right next to the bed here where I slept. It would be in a regular hotel room. And I never heard anyone walking by. So it's very, very quiet in these royal rooms. And in my memory, I think the Kalahari rooms, all of them are really quiet. So the walls must be insulated or something, but it's really quiet. There is a hallway on the first floor of the resort connecting the lobby to Tomfoolery's indoor theme park. And there are rooms along that hallway. And I have said, I don't think I would ever want one of those rooms, because there's a lot of foot traffic there. Lots of people are walking by. And they have a sign that says, you know, sleeping rooms, please be quiet, but nobody is. The kids are running up and down and screaming and stuff. So try to avoid that area of the resort. We're on the third floor, and there are 4 floors. So, I mean, as long as you're on 2, 3, or 4, I think you'd be fine, because there's no resort amenities on any other floor than the first floor. So all the stuff is on the first floor, and then second, third, and fourth is all just rooms. So you're not gonna have anything but rooms around you or with you. This is a special section of the resort for the royal suites, and there is a door, and you're supposed to have to use your key card to get into it. And I remember doing that in the past, because we did stay in a even nicer room than this one time that my dad got for us. It was a royal 2-bedroom with a living room, and I think it had a little kitchen. Did it have a kitchen? It had 2 bathrooms like this one does, but they were in a different place, and it had 2 completely separate bedrooms. You didn't have to walk through one bedroom to get to the other one, because it also had a big living room and a balcony that faced over, like, it was right up, it might have been on this same end above us. It was a really nice room, and I remember we had to use our key to get through that door to get into this hallway. It's a sliding glass door, but you're supposed to be able to use the key. It's stuck open. Every time we've gone through it, it's just stuck open. And so I don't know if it's broken or they've taken it out of service or what the deal is, but nobody's coming down this way except the guests of these rooms. But I just thought that was kind of strange that it's like just stuck open like that. Let's see, quiet, comfort. The other thing I was going to say about the rooms is, well, and Kalahari as a whole, we've stayed here. I was trying to count. Oh, and I meant to look up. I'll put it on the bottom of the screen here. I'll look it up after I make the video. I was trying to remember when this Kalahari Resort opened. I can't quite remember. I think it's within Andrew's lifetime. And Andrew is 22 years old right now, so I think it's within the last 22 years. I don't think it was open before he was born. So, and I think we've stayed here, including this time, at least 6 or 7 times, and it might even be 8. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember every time we've stayed here. And we've stayed here, just me and the kids. I've stayed here with my dad. I've stayed here with my mom. She got her own room. I remember that time Megan was a little baby, and I had Andrew with me, or maybe Ben was a baby. I don't know. Somebody was a baby. We've stayed here with my dad at least twice. Stayed here with my ex-husband a couple times when we were still married. So we've stayed here quite a few times. The thing that kind of stuck out to me on this stay, the last time we stayed here was 3 summers ago. We stayed here in the summer of 2016, right after Megan finished 6th grade. And that summer, we happened to also stay at Great Wolf Lodge across the road the same summer. We came down and did the Wisconsin Dells boat tour and stayed at Great Wolf Lodge right after school got out at the beginning of June. And then later that summer, I kind of joked that summer that it was the summer of the water park, because we went to water park places like 4 times. Later that summer, at the very end of July, I got some kind of deal like I did this time. And we came here and stayed at the Kalahari at the very end of July. And I remember that summer thinking to myself and feeling that Kalahari Great Wolf Lodge is very nice. And I recommend Great Wolf Lodge to families. Kalahari felt really luxurious and kind of luxury and fancier than Great Wolf Lodge at the time. I just remember having that very distinct feeling then. And I remember always feeling that way in every stay prior to that. It felt fancy and it felt luxurious. It felt kind of on par with like a deluxe Disney resort hotel. And it does not feel that way this time. It definitely feels kind of dated, and it feels like the standards of things have gone down. I would say in like just observing like the lifeguards and some of the, like even the doormen, and just everybody kind of just seems to be sort of there and not real actively engaged with the guests or anything. And this theming, which is all this African theming to make it look like it's Africa, is cool, but the color scheme is starting to look kind of ugh, and it looks just kind of dated. And I'm noticing like the fixtures in here, like the doors to the bathroom, and just some of the things look kind of old. And I'm feeling like they haven't, I know they have. I know that at some point they at least did a soft goods refurb, because I remember the bedding changing at some point from the very beginning. And probably the carpets and stuff too, but I just feel like it could use a refresh and maybe go a little, I don't know how they could do it lighter and still keep that Africa theming. I'm not sure. There's one way I thought of, hold on. These are the toiletries that they leave in the room. I don't know if you guys can see those, if it's kind of fuzzy. I'm having trouble getting a good light in here. Shampoo, shower gel, conditioner, and body lotion. And these look new. They've still got the elephant Kalahari logo on them. Can you guys see that? But there you go. They're white and they look kind of fresh and new and modern. And I don't remember these being, the old stuff, I know Megan brought some home and we had it at home for a while. And it didn't look like this. So this stuff is new. And there's a rhino on there. This one has a lion. This one has a some kind of cat and a water buffalo. And these look kind of fresh and cool. And I'm wondering if the theming is going more this way and they are maybe refurbing the other locations. One thing I found, here we go. I was saying in my other video, I didn't know where all the locations were. It's Wisconsin Dells, Sandusky, Ohio, Pocono Mountains, Pennsylvania, which I mentioned. Here's the 4th one. I knew there was another one like either in existence or coming. It's Round Rock, Texas, and it says it's coming in 2020. So there's going to be 4. So I'm wondering if they're going with a little different something for this new one, and maybe it's going to carry over to the other resorts. I thought of the other thing I wanted to say about this room. This window that goes into the hallway, I think that's there. I mean, I kept the curtains closed the whole time. I think that's there just for light, because technically this room, because you have to walk through it, has no window. So it's like, I wouldn't want to keep it open if I was like changing in here, because you could see into it if you're standing right at the window. But it's kind of, what am I trying to say? Like, so you can't see through it exactly. A lot of light, even though I had the curtains closed and they're big, dark brown, heavy drapes, a lot of light came in around those drapes, and a lot of light came in under the door to the hallway. There was no sound, but a lot of light did come in. I do have my mask with me, my eye mask, but I didn't need to use it. I was so tired, I think, from the water park. I still was able to sleep fine, even though a lot of light came in. And then this morning I noticed, looking into the kids' room, a lot of light came in around the curtain in there too, from the balcony, from the sliding glass door to the balcony. They seemed fine. They didn't say anything about it, but I did notice that if you're sensitive to that, to a lot of light coming in, bleeding into the room, you might want to have an eye mask or something with you. So that was the other thing I wanted to say about the room. About the luxury feel of the resort and the other locations, I just feel like this resort could do with a good cleaning and maybe some, refresh of like paint colors and things like that. Like just a little bit of a decor refresh. And they maybe need to do something about their staff. I don't know. We didn't have nobody was rude to us. Everybody that we actually talked to and dealt with was very polite and professional, especially when I had to do the room switch. She was great, and she was young. She was like a college kid. So everybody we've talked to has been fine. But yeah, the lifeguard seemed kind of lackadaisical. Just staff out and about just seemed kind of, I don't know. And then something we noticed in this little thing that they gave us when we checked in, that our keys were in here. There's a couple things in here that's interesting. There's a tomfooleries map in here, some information, but they have this new policy, Your Kalahari Family. And it has, we're all here to have fun, and we are family friendly, be considerate of others, a zero tolerance policy, smile, you're on camera, they want you to know they're watching you. And then on the back, there is this guest code of conduct with some rules, and I don't remember ever seeing this before staying here. And it's things like foul language, disruptive behavior, weapons, clothing or body art, which we determined to be unfit for a family resort, smoking, recreational drug use, theft, damaging of property, and that they're gonna like totally turn these people over to the police, is what they're saying, is on this thing. And then the other thing I noticed on the back here, this is more of a safety thing. On the back of this, they have these list of water park awareness. They also have a big sign on the back of the door, like where the fire escape plan is, reminding parents that they are fully responsible for their children's safety in the water park. And I actually really appreciate that, because even last night, I noticed a lot of parents with little kids who were nowhere near their kids. And I will let my kids go off and ride a slide by themselves because they're 15 and 11. And very responsible, and they're like together, and the 15-year-old is obviously and they're, but I'm talking like little 2 and 3-year-olds I saw coming down slides, and I'm looking around. This one little girl came down the slide, and I was standing right there waiting for Ben to come down, who barely made the weight limit. You couldn't be above 100 pounds. So this is definitely the last time he's going to be able to go down that slide. Megan and I were too big. But anyway, this little 2-year-old, she looked about 2. She had a life vest on. But when she got to the bottom of the slide, she went to get up and she banged her mouth on the side of the slide. And she was like holding her mouth because it obviously hurt. And I'm not sure if she was bleeding. I couldn't see. But I tried to like smile at her and kind of give her some encouragement. But I was like looking around for her mom. And she finally ran over to her mom, and her mom was way far away. And I'm like, why are these parents not watching these kids? And then another one, when we first got into that area in the indoor water park, which I'll show you, that video will probably be first. I showed you in my, I don't know. I showed you in my water park tour in that kids area. There was another little boy, 3-4 years old, playing at the very end of the slide. And no kids could come down the slide because that kid was just sitting there in the water. And the lifeguard up at the top of the slide was frantically trying to get this woman's attention, who I mistakenly also thought was his mother. And I finally, she didn't see the lifeguard doing that. She was watching for her own kids. And so I went over to her. I got up and went over to her because I was sitting on a chair on the edge of the water. And I said, ma'am, the lifeguard's trying to get your attention. Your son needs to move. And she goes, oh, that's not my kid. And so I'm like, oh. And so finally we both kind of just glared at him until he moved, because no kids could come down and he wasn't paying attention to the lifeguard at the top of the slide. And it says right here in the water park awareness, to ensure optimum safety, children under 14 years of age must be in the direct supervision of an adult at all times. And don't get me started. I'm an educator. Don't get me started on how parents these days are not everybody, but there's a lot of parents who, I'm sorry, I blame for a lot of stuff, because they're not watching their kids and they're not parenting their kids actively like they should be. And then the other things on here are like, safety with coolers and glass containers, and skin irritations because of the chlorine and stuff like that. Limit your exposure to hot tubs, stuff like that. So it's just safety stuff. And then the other thing I want to go back to is the areas that I'm noticing that really could use some TLC in this particular resort, and I haven't been to the other ones, so I can't say, are the rooms definitely need a refresh. The indoor water park felt dingy. It didn't used to feel that way. It used to feel really cool, and like, just there's a lot of dust on the things up high where they haven't gotten up there to clean things. There's a lot of scuffed paint, chipping paint. One entire section of the lazy river was closed, and I asked the lifeguard who was like blocking off that section, why can't we go that way? Because that's my favorite part, and why can't we go down that part? And he just shrugged at me. He obviously knew the reason and just didn't want to answer me. He didn't say anything to me. And I thought that was kind of, at least have an excuse. I don't know. But the only thing I could come up with is it is the end of the busy season. It's the very end of summer. It's possible they're short-staffed right now, like especially for water safety, because it's definitely considerably busier in the summer than it is any other time of year. And maybe they didn't have enough lifeguards to patrol that whole big long section of the lazy river, so they just closed it off. That's a very distinct possibility. The other place that I noticed that was a little rough was the theme park. That rebranding to tomfooleries, and I mentioned that in the video about that, I feel like they made it look cheap. It doesn't have the same nice tropical sort of neat feel that it did before. It feels cheapy, and I don't know whose idea that was, but I don't think that was a good direction to take. The lobby is still very, very nice. And I mean, this room is nice. It's definitely in better condition than the first room they put us in. That room was rough. It was very scuffed up and obviously had heavy guest traffic through it. And yeah, so I definitely think these bigger suites are probably getting less traffic in them, and so they're able to keep this up nicer, or maybe they're just giving it more attention. I'm not sure. Where I thought the luxury standard was still very high, and why I'm wondering if maybe they're going to be doing some refurbishment of the rest of the resort eventually. That new section of the convention center that I showed in the video in the resort tour was gorgeous and very luxurious, with new furnishings and new carpet, and it was beautiful. I did see on a sign, like I said, I'm filming this at the very end of August. That is actually not scheduled to be open until September of 2019. So that's why they were finishing up the walls and stuff. But that was beautiful. And so if they kind of that's going to be the new standard. And if this new resort in Texas, and maybe they're going to bring this new look over to the rest of the resort, I think that would be a very positive thing. So I'm kind of curious if that's something that might happen in the future. So anyway, that is my thoughts about Kalahari Resort in Wisconsin Dells, and I hope that was helpful to you if you're considering a stay here. I would still highly recommend you come and stay if you've never been. It's a really fun place. I do tend to find, though, I like staying at these indoor water park resorts more in the winter. And the reason for that is twofold. One, I think you just get kind of a quieter, lesser crowd in the winter. There's less visitors overall, and they kind of have a very cozy feel. I mean, when we've got 4 feet of snow and it's 20 below outside, it's nice to come in here, especially like this room has a fireplace. A lot of the rooms over at Great Wolf Lodge have fireplaces. Wilderness and Great Wolf Lodge both have that woodsy kind of log cabin-y National Park Lodge feel. It's very cozy and comfortable, and to get out of the winter weather and into those water parks inside where it's like, it feels like the tropics, is really nice. So I actually prefer coming to these more in the winter than I do in the summer. The only disadvantage is in the summer, obviously, 2 things. You can't take advantage of the outdoor water parks in the summer, which I'm gonna do in my water park tour, because they're closed. And you can't take advantage, a lot of the rest of Wisconsin Dells is just shut down. It's a ghost town, because except out here by these water park resorts at this Lake Delton exit, the rest of Wisconsin Dells almost, I mean, there's some restaurants and stuff open, but like that whole downtown area, there's like nothing going on down there. You know, the mini golf and all the outdoor attractions and things are not open. So that's just something to consider. But there's still plenty of activities to do here at the resorts. I did think of one more thing I wanted to tell you. When you stay at Kalahari Resort here in Wisconsin Dells, in the summer, and they've been doing this the last few years, you get a couple of freebies. You get a pass for your whole family to the Timbavati Wildlife Park. And they even wrote our details on there. They gave us the date that it expires, how many people in our party, stuff like that. So you have to have this voucher, and you have to have your wristband on to take advantage of this. We are gonna go check this out this afternoon. I've never been to the Timbavati Wildlife Park. We've talked about going a couple times in the past, and we've just never gone. I have heard it says not valid for safari training camel rides, so that's going to be an extra cost. I have heard that they do have a lot of extra charge things over there. Like if you want to feed the giraffes and stuff, you have to pay for that. So we're going to see. I'm going to make another video. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm going to make another video about this place, and we're going to see how much we can do for free. The other thing they give you, which we did not use, was they give you free passes to the Tommy Bartlett Ski Show, which is a good value, because I can't remember how much it costs, but the tricky part of this is the shows are only at 4:30 and 8:30 p.m. So one pretty much conflicts with dinner, and the other one is pretty late. So if you've got young children in your family, like we wouldn't have even wanted to go to that, because we were back in the room by 9:30 and we were tired. So but that's a nice bonus. So if you stay at Kalahari, oh yeah, it says it's $22.95. So that's $69 of free tickets that they gave us, which I feel kind of bad that we can't use. But anyway, that's 2 free things, and they've been doing that for several summers now. I've noticed you get those free passes to those 2 attractions when you stay at Kalahari Resort, basically between Memorial Day and Labor Day. So something to note. So anyway, I hope that helps you learn more about the Kalahari Resort in Wisconsin Dells. Thank you guys for joining me today. If you like this video and you appreciate tips and stuff like this, please give me a like. And if you have not already, please be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Lots more coming. I have all my videos planned through like March. So we have lots more content coming for you. So thank you guys for joining me today. Have a great day and safe travels.